Hello everyone, welcome to my hw0 demonstration. My name is Renchen Lu and my Unity ID is ylu36. I'm gonna demonstrate two parts. The first part, I'm gonna create a virtual machine image using Vagrant and VirtualBox. I'll install Node.js in my VM and demonstrate using a sync folder. The second part, I'm gonna complete a small pipeline workshop. Before I start anything, I'll make sure that I have a command prompt open with admin privilege. And I have previously installed a VirtualBox, which is free download. And then I'll make sure in my user folder, I don't have any Vagrant file existed. Alright, let's start. In my command prompt, I'm gonna copy and paste this command, which will initiate a Vagrant file for me, which is Ubuntu. And then I'm gonna start this virtual machine, which was not created yet, but I'm gonna create it with this command. It may take a while. Okay, and I'll make sure that I can actually access this Vagrant created VM. Okay, so I'm in this VM, as you can see from this part, and I will log out from now. Okay, my next step is I'm gonna edit a few settings in the Vagrant file. I'll open this Vagrant file, and I'll find this line, which will create a private network. I'm gonna uncomment this line so that I can have an IP address associated with my VM. I'm gonna save and exit, and I'm gonna reload this VM, which also might take a while. Okay, my next step is I'm gonna create a sync folder. I'll still open my Vagrant file. At the very bottom, I'll add a few lines of code. Again, I'm gonna do a Vagrant reload. Okay, so now I have everything set up. I can log into my virtual machine. I'll install Node.js. I'll make sure I got updated. Alright, so I'm gonna clone this workshop repository. Okay, so it's already existed. I'll navigate into the project folder. Go to where the code is, the server code is, and I'll do a npm install to install all the dependency libraries. Alright, so I can I'll try run the server. Alright, so you can see I have started the server in the VM, and I'm gonna open in my local browser, and and I should be able to see that the web server is working correctly. I can verify that by checking what's inside this index.js. See, hi there, which has a small typo. Now I'm gonna demonstrate that my sync folder is actually working. I'll go to my command prompt. I'll go to my package.json file. I have already added this line, which will shut down the server. I'll execute this command. Okay, so if I go to this address now, nothing should be shown. Now I go to my index.js file, and I'm gonna edit a few lines. I'm gonna edit this line. Instead of saying hello there, I'm gonna say hello there to CSC 519. Save this file, exit, npm run forever. So it's here. Hi there to the CSC 519. The second part of the project, I will set up a bare bone pipeline consisting of hooks. Okay, I will make a folder directory called pipeline, and I'll cd into that directory. I'll also clone this app created by the professor, and I'll cd into this app folder. In the app folder, I'll install all the dependencies by running npm install. Alright, I'll cd out to pipeline directory. There's an app directory, and I'll make another directory. Let's call it deploy, and I'll get into that deploy directory. I'll make two subdirectories, one called production.git, another called www. In my production.git, I'm gonna initiate a bare bone Git repository, local Git repository, and I'll go to the hooks folder. I'll create a post receive script. In my hooks directory, I'm gonna add a script called post receive. As you can see here, I have already created this file in my desktop, so I'm just gonna do a copy paste. I'll do a ls-l. This post receive script doesn't have executable feature, so I'm gonna add that. Now if I do ls-l, this script can be executed. Now I will go to my app directory to add a remote. I'll add this production.git as a, let's call it prod. I'll add it to the remote. Notice a few things here. I'm using // because This because I'm actually referring to the absolute path of this production.git directory. Now I can see my list of remote. I have 2 origins for fetch and push, and 2 prod for fetch and push. My last step is to make sure that any changes I made to my app directory will be pushed to the remote directory. If I do a ls deploy.www, there shouldn't be anything there because I have done nothing over there. Now I'm gonna push prod to master. Also, you can see this this line, push to production, which I added to the post receive script. Now I do the same thing. I list www's content. I have 4 files. That's it. I will do a quick recap. In my first part, I created a Ubuntu virtual machine using Vagrant. Firstly, I installed Vagrant and installed VirtualBox. And then I initiated a Vagrant file. I started up the virtual machine and logged into the virtual machine to make sure everything works. Then I added out the Vagrant file to make sure that the VM has an IP address that I can access to in my host machine. Then I enabled a sync folder in my between my host machine and my VM. In my pipeline workshop, firstly I cloned a repository containing a server. Then I made a deploy directory with 2 subdirectories, production.git and www. In production.git, I initiated a bare local Git repository. Then in the hooks directory of production.git, I placed a post receive file which contains these 2 lines of code. Then I added the remote. In the app directory, I added a remote called prod, which points to this production.git. Lastly, I did a git push prod master, which pushes any change I made in the app directory to the production directory, which is my www file folder. I should also demonstrate that the server is running okay in my production file folder. So if I start the server with node main.js, I assign 9000 as a port number. Then I go to localhost 9000. I got this message.